Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Blaise XPerience once again. You are joining us for episode 81 today, and I am your host Derreck as always. And today we are going to be talking about some Sea of Thieves again. This is the Sea of Thieves anniversary update. So the anniversary update happened about 2 weeks ago, and I wanted to do an episode on it. I wanted to wait a little bit though, because there's a lot of aspects of this DLC to try. So I wanted to make sure I got enough experience with all the aspects of it to jump into it with a clear mindset and have enough under my belt to actually talk about all the aspects. But before we get into that, real quick, I'm going to say that our next podcast is going to be next Saturday. So you are going to be hearing this on Saturday the 18th. The next podcast will be Saturday, May 25th. That is probably going to be a State of Decay 2 topic. I don't have the topic planned out just yet because based on when this is being recorded, that's about 2 weeks from now. So I haven't figured out that far ahead what topic I'll do yet, but it'll be something about State of Decay 2. And I do have our stream schedule for next week as well. On Sunday, we're going to be playing State of Decay 2. On Monday, Borderlands 1. And then Tuesday, some more State of Decay 2. And that's going to be the 19th, 20th, and 21st. That's going to be 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern on all 3 of those days. So tune in for that. And we are going for our goal of 500 followers on Mixers. So as soon as we hit 500 followers, we are going to have 3 different giveaways. A DLC for State of Decay, which is the Daybreak DLC. And then we're going to have the State of Decay Year 1 Survival Edition. You're going to get a copy of that game. And we're going to have a $10 gift card for either Xbox, PS4, or Steam, whatever your choice is. So we'll do giveaways for those. And I'm also going to do a 12-hour bonus stream and add 4 hours to my weekly schedule. So basically, once we hit 500, we're going to have a lot of ramped up stuff there. So if you want to help us hit 500, then I definitely appreciate that. But without further ado, we'll get to our guests here. So we have some great guests that we've had on before. We actually haven't heard from these 2 guests in a little while. So first up, we have a guest that you've heard quite often on the podcast. This guest has started his podcasting career with us at episode 5. And he's been on, I think, 14, 15 times now, something like that. I lost count at this point. But you last heard him on a segment for episode 72 for the anniversary episode. His last full episode was on episode 69, talking about Crackdown 3. Please welcome back to the podcast, Monty. How are you, Monty?
That's a sex number. Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. It's been a little while since you've been back, but 12 episodes, not too bad. You've had longer absences before, so.
I have, yes. I mean, I've been here a while, just lurking in the shadows, in the Discord,
exactly.
watching everything. I don't talk.
And if you ever played State of Decay, you could always jump in those episodes, but you never play State of Decay. So I always have to bring you for something else. So
I don't know. I tried it, but I don't know.
Fair enough. But we do have one other guest here with us. This guest also talked some Sea of Thieves with us in the past. They were on for episode 72 as well for a segment of the anniversary episode. But their last full episode, I actually went back and checked, and it was quite a while away. It was actually episode 38. So it's been almost 40 episodes now. Please welcome back to the podcast, Meader. How are you, Meader?
Hey, how's it going, Derreck? I'm not too bad. Thanks so much.
Thanks for coming back. I'm glad you're back. I didn't realize it had actually been 40 episodes. It's crazy to think about.
It really is. Time really flies. And hey, is it weird that my favorite guest you've ever had on this show is Monty, not me?
Hey, as long as it works out. I mean, I think Monty's a great guest, and I'm glad you appreciate him. I appreciate him too, and that's why he keeps coming back. So
I'm very glad I'm appreciated, and I wish that I could have been there for the Forsaken Shores episode. So me and Meader, we could have done an episode earlier on, but as mentioned before, a broken toe stopped that. But here I am.
Episode 38 you talked about. I mean, that was supposed to be all 3 of us, but you had to pull out because of the broken toe issue, so it was just Meader and I. And actually, the last time we talked about Sea of Thieves at all on the podcast was episode 42, which is just Monty and I. Monty and I, if you remember, we talked about the Forsaken Shores cargo runs, because that came in later.
Yes. It's like, this is my first episode with somebody other than Derreck, so it's glad to have a new voice.
Yeah, this is going to be great. Love Sea of Thieves.
And we actually got together as a crew as well. All 3 of us played together, and we did some Tall Tales together, so that was really fun to get you guys together.
We did. I missed most of it, staying on the boat. They delegated me away. Sent me off. They did everything on their own, and I was left on the ship.
Yeah, by the time he gets to the island, we're like, oh, we're already done, buddy. Sorry.
Pretty much. But from what I did see, it was nice.
Yes.
I think I saw a glimpse or two from the ship.
You saw like a gem once or something like that, so.
It was typical, you know. You leave me on the boat the entire time. You finally drag me off the boat, and then we get back and the boat sunk.
Hey, I mean, well, you're the one that's supposed to be watching the boat, so if you're watching the boat, you know. Classic Monty, you know.
We found the boat.
Yeah, on another island.
Still counts as finding it, though.
Less finding it, more so dying.
Hey, you still find the boat when you come back, so.
Well, no, we found you hiding on a rock. That's different.
No, he swam to the boat and then got eaten by a shark.
Yeah, that happens too. But yeah, so we can kind of move on to the Sea of Thieves anniversary update. So there's a lot of new stuff in this update. There's a new mode called Arena Mode. There's the Tall Tales Adventures, which is a full-on Sea of Thieves campaign. And there's some new mechanics as well. So, and one of these new mechanics is actually fishing. And when we actually had our adventure together, I tried a little bit of the fishing, and I managed to put the bait on the rod, and I actually managed to get bites on the fish, but I couldn't actually catch a fish. Did you guys actually have a chance to catch a fish?
No. I cast a rod, I put some bait on it, and I got a bite. But that's it.
That's all I got, too. How about you?
Yeah, same. I spent probably one cast trying it, and then I was trying to steer the boat.
Yeah, it seems a little bit more complicated than like you would think at first glance. I mean, I tried to reel the fish, and I tried to, pull up on the rod like the normal things you'd think to do in fishing, but it didn't seem to be working. So there's got to be a trick to it that we're all missing. Like, I don't know what the trick is, but there's got to be a trick to it, I guess.
Well, my friend who was watching me play at the time said you got to give the rod some give. So I don't know if that would help, but I don't know.
Maybe,
I didn't try since, so.
We will have to try it again in the future then. I mean, I'm not too worried about it, honestly, because I enjoy the other aspects of this update a lot more than fishing. I was never one of the guys that's like, oh, we have to have fishing. Like, I was always like, well, yeah, if they want to bring it in, I'll test it out. But, I mean, I was never, like, super into fishing. So.
I got a question for you. Can you harpoon a shark?
You can harpoon a shark, yeah.
Oh my goodness. That's the only sort of fishing I want to do.
So yeah, we did have our third guest jump in here. Our third guest is their first time on the podcast now. They are a frequent visitor on my streams, one of my mods as well. And they did have some Sea of Thieves adventures with me as well. So please welcome to the podcast, Zombie Killer Mod. How are you, Zombie?
I'm good. How are you?
We're good. Thanks for jumping in. I appreciate you jumping in here. And we're talking about mechanics now. So we're talking about some of the new mechanics in the game. We just mentioned fishing. I don't know if you tried fishing at all, but we were all saying how we couldn't catch a fish, so.
Oh, yeah, I tried it. It's pretty difficult, but I did manage to do one, that was it. It's just really difficult to catch a fish.
So the one that you caught, how did you actually catch it? Did you have to, reel in really fast, or, what techniques you use?
When it's going from, side to side of, the screen-wise, what I tend to do is I go the opposite way, and I reel in really fast.
And that actually worked?
Yeah, it worked for me, but only once. One time charm, I guess.
Hey, still better than none.
Exactly, it's better than none. So, I mean, I got 3 bites, and I couldn't catch any fish on the 3 bites I got. So it's not like I tried a lot, but I got 3 bites, and in 3 bites I couldn't catch one. So I'm like, whatever, I'll just move on to something else. But with that, there's actually a new faction called the Hunter's Call, which is sort of a food-based or fishing faction that you can actually earn reputation with as well. So to get to Pirate Legend, you obviously have to have 3 factions up to level 50, and this is a new faction you can actually use to get to level 50 and become a Pirate Legend. And the other new faction is the Sea Dogs, which is part of Arena Mode. So it's kind of cool, actually, that there's 3 different factions in the game now that you have 5 different options, essentially. So you have 5 different options. You can use any of those 3 options to get to Pirate Legend. So that is really nice for new players.
Yeah, it's really cool that they've added in new factions now, because once you're a Pirate Legend, it's kind of hard to find a reason to play anymore a lot of times. So this gives you more achievements to work towards. I think it's a really big update and really good on Rare for doing so.
Yeah, no, I like that. With the options, it's it can be better suited to your style of play. Like, I know I mentioned much earlier on in the game that I wasn't a fan of sort of all the chickens and all of that. I didn't like any of that. The cargo runs made it better, but it still wasn't really my sort of thing. But I lean towards more so the combat stuff, so the gold hoarders and the skulls, all of that. And having the options to just do like skulls, gold, and arena, it's nice that there's this diversity.
No, I agree for sure. Because I mean, for me, I never really liked the gold holders faction as much. I kind of like the Order of Souls and the merchants more, which I know is not very popular opinion. Now, most people hated the merchants, but for me, now that gives me the option because I'm not a legend yet, so I could actually use Order of Souls, maybe the Sea Dogs, and maybe like the merchants, and that'd be my 3. So that's kind of cool that I could actually do like 3 like that and skip the gold hoarders because I'm not as big on the gold hoarders because I would rather just go kill some skeletons or, carry some cargo across the sea and have adventures like that.
And now, can you eat the fish?
You can cook it and eat it, yeah. So if you eat it raw, I believe you get sick, but you can cook it and eat it.
I think that adds another layer of strategy, too, that if, previously you've had to go onto islands to get things to heal with, and now you can do it on the fly if you're low on health and you don't want to use your resources that the whole team has. Just fish off the side of the boat real quick and refill your health.
Yeah, which is really cool. So if you have a team that, has somebody on that's a really good fisherman, they can actually catch the food that, heals the rest of the team. So you wouldn't even have to let's go restock our food. Let's jump in the water, get these barrels. So kind of like you're saying, Meader, it's actually really cool that you can, self-sustain basically without having to worry about it as much.
Yeah, I know there's some situations like let's say you have 2 people jump off the boat to grab some supplies and they're sinking, and you have to prioritize what are we going to grab. You can choose to grab cannonballs and planks and forego food altogether. So it gives you other options in order to satisfy those needs. I could imagine a situation where you're in a PvP battle. And you need food while you're out on the open sea sailing, fighting somebody, and you can literally just fish. That would be like the most high energy, high octane fishing ever.
Absolutely, that'd be really cool, actually.
Extreme combat fishing. You've had your regular fishing. Now get ready for extreme combat fishing.
I'd be down for that.
Test it out.
Is that a new faction that's added as well for that? Combat fishing. Combine both the new ones together. There you go.
That's how I'm getting my
TM.
pirate legend.
Yeah. I just like, as well.
That'll be your new gamer tag there.
Yeah.
Combat fisherman.
What I also like about this new update as well is the fact that there's a whole new variety of food, not just the fish. Like, it used to be just bananas, and that's it, just bananas, that's all they used to be. But now there's obviously, like, different types of fruit you can get, and other stuff, and different kinds
Right, you have, like, coconuts and mangoes.
Yeah, stuff like that, like, and it adds more variety to the game, as well. That's something
now,
I
correct
like.
me if I'm wrong, guys, that, like, I don't know if the new food actually gives you more or less health per food. Like, does a coconut give you the same amount of health as a banana? I think it does, correct?
As far as I'm aware, yeah, sort of, I ate a couple from the many times I got injured during our gaming time. And I didn't notice any particular difference in the amount they healed me. I burnt a banana, but that didn't heal me any more or less, I think. I don't know if you cook something right, it heals you more.
Did you find any difference in the healing meter with the different fruits?
I didn't. I wasn't like actively looking at all though.
I wasn't either, yeah.
So I just know when I needed to heal, I healed, and it was kind of cool that there were different things. I pretty much only think I had coconuts though.
Yeah, I know I tried coconuts and mangoes, I believe. I don't think I tried the tomatoes. There's like tomatoes and stuff too. But,
I think I did a lot more healing than you guys. So I had bananas, coconuts, mangoes, tomatoes.
Let me just heal on the boat, guys. You guys have over there.
You left me on the boat, but I'm still the one taking the damage.
Yes. But one of the last new mechanics we didn't talk about is the new ship damage, which I think this is really cool and adds a lot of new strategy because now different aspects of the ship can get damaged that weren't able to be damaged before. So now you can break the mast, you can break the capstan, which holds the anchor, you can break the wheel, Or if you have a hole in the ship, you can actually shoot that same hole again and create a bigger hole and make water rush in faster. So I think it's a really cool new feature where you can actually, incapacitate someone. You can say hit the capstan. If you have a direct shot in the capstan, you can drop their anchor, leave them defenseless. Or if you break their wheel, they have to repair their wheel before they can even steer again. So that's really cool, actually.
Yeah, I know I definitely mentioned at least the idea of breaking masts a while ago. I don't know if that was on a podcast or just generally when we were playing, but I really like this idea. I mean, we got sort of a few similar sort of things with the cursed cannonballs, but it's nice that this is actually a thing now. The sort of enriching the combat per se.
Yeah, I didn't notice it too much in the adventure modes we play. I noticed a lot more in arena, but I think it's still cool that it's actually available because you can, incapacitate someone and really change your PvP battle how you want to change it. So I think that's really cool.
Just real quick, I did happen to pop onto the Sea of Thieves wiki. It looks like they changed the banana. It used to heal you for 20% of your health. Now it does 10. The coconut is 20. Pomegranate 30, mango 50, and then a pineapple 100% of your health.
Oh wow, that's really cool actually.
The more you know.
I'm glad you looked that up because I didn't know the different fruits had like different percentages like that. So
I did
that's
not
crazy that a pineapple does 100%.
Yeah, it
basically
is.
You gotta get the pineapples then. So if you guys see pineapples, definitely save those because apparently you can get all your health back in one shot.
You know what? I'm hogging all those pineapples now.
Well, I think it's gonna be Monty actually, because Monty just stays in the ship, so he's gonna hoard them all in there.
They're not gonna fit in your pocket. Where are you storing those pineapples?
Exactly.
Good question.
As far as the you guys were talking about the breaking the mast and having that fall, I definitely think that's really cool. I know the first time it fell, I had no idea how to get it back up, but it's really cool that they just use the same cords that would pull up and down the sail itself. I thought that was really clever, and it makes a lot of sense, obviously.
Well,
it definitely does.
I haven't had this happen to me yet, so do you guys want to explain what happens?
Yeah, go for it. You want to take care of it, Meader?
It doesn't matter to me. Yeah, so it breaks in half pretty much, and in order to get it to go back up, you have to pull it like you would if you're raising the sail. And then you can have one person on either side or just one person, and it goes really, really slow. Then it's up, but it won't stay up unless you use wood to repair it. And it also matters how much more damage it can take by how much wood you use to repair it. You can use up to 4 pieces to get it back to 100% health.
That's cool.
It actually takes a really long time to get back up and running.
I like that there's the different percentages that you can get it to then. That's cool.
And I never had the wheel break yet, but I would assume that the wheel breaking is kind of the same concept where you have different percentages. Meader, do you have the wheel break yet on you?
No, I had the anchor break, and it knocks off the pegs that go into it. So, if only one peg is left, only one person can raise the anchor.
Oh, right.
Which makes it really difficult. Because then as one person is trying to raise it, another one's trying to nail something onto it, and they have to walk with it perfectly. It's wild.
Especially on a galleon with arena mode, I can see that being a real problem.
Absolutely. And now they have the holes. The more you get hit in the same spot in the ship, the bigger the hole gets, the more water rushes in, and the longer it takes to repair it.
Yeah, that part I really love, honestly, because if you kept hitting the same spot, it wasn't really doing anything previously, but now if you're actually that good on your aim, you can hit the same spot several times and almost sink somebody just by hitting that one spot.
The biggest thing that hitting the same spot in the past did do, though, was it prevented anybody from being able to repair it, because whoever was trying to repair it would get knocked back.
I like that they're I like they're sort of trying to encourage, sort of, with every pass of fighting, going on the opposite sides. Because I know it used to be, at least, if you were doing PvP with another ship, you'd generally keep on the same side just because it was easier with cannons and stuff. They'd be correctly angled. But now you have to keep swapping because otherwise you're going to be taking a lot of hits to the same places. So that's quite cool as well.
For sure.
Yeah. It also changes up the dynamic of obviously the combat system in general, because a lot of stuff you're not going to know what happens the minute you go into a fight with somebody. Normally it's just oh, I'm just going to get a hole in the ship. That's perfectly fine. Someone's down and repairing it. But then now you can have like the mast break, the wheel break, like the ship's wheel break, and then obviously all this comes into play where you have to try to repair that while other stuff is happening at the same time. Like for example, like holes in the ship while stuff is already broken. So it obviously like everyone's then like flailing around, and if you don't have communication, it's obviously not going to work out. But I like the dynamic of that because it kind of like adds that intensity of that moment being like, okay, we're in a difficult situation, we need to improvise on something now, like very quickly. And I kind of like that dynamic.
Yeah, you're almost gonna want two people on repairing, depending on what's taking damage now, rather than two people shooting, which is interesting as well. Because if you lose your mast, as you mentioned, that takes a while, so that's definitely going to be something you want straight back up. So maybe even three people on that.
Yeah,
that's
it
a really
really
good point.
It depends on what ship you're using too, because I mean, it kind of makes it to where I think the sloop is a little bit more viable now, because if you have two people on a sloop, you can have one person steering the sloop, and then the sloop is so small that you can have one person take care of like the repairs and stuff like that, and can get out of there a little bit easier. I mean, a galleon is such a much bigger target that you're kind of, dead in the water. You can't turn as fast, so it really opens up these opportunities for all these, extra damage shots.
I would agree, but my main problem there is when you're fighting with the galleon on a sloop, because the galleon is higher, they have a lot more chances to shoot down on you. So shooting things like the wheel, the capstan, just generally aiming at targets like this, which if you're on an equal foot sort of level, they'd generally be harder targets. If they're above you shooting down on you, it'll be easier to hit that. So you might also be more likely to take damage to those areas.
Which is possible. I'm saying more in the sense that sloops were already way more maneuverable than galleons in the first place. So basically, because of that fact, this actually gives them more opportunity to strike now, because they can get in there, get a lucky shot on the wheel or something like that. Then the galleon can't even chase you because the wheel's down. So they have to repair the wheel first. So basically what I'm saying is, as a sloop, you have more opportunities now that if you hit the right spot, you can really get away.
Yeah, I just think angles might be a bit of a pain for that. But no, absolutely I get where you're coming from.
Angles kind of brings up one of my favorite new mechanics, and that's the harpoon. I love that thing.
Oh, yes. I love the harpoon. It's so great.
Yeah, the harpoon is really cool, actually. And with the harpoon, you can actually draw ships into you. So if you're the bigger ship, say you are the galleon, and you harpoon a sloop, it actually pulls the sloop closer to you because it goes based on the weight, which is smart how it does that. So if it's like a megalodon, you can actually harpoon a megalodon too, and whatever, the megalodon or whatever ship you're using, whatever has more weight, it pulls towards that.
We've had, it makes open sea battles a lot more interesting to me, because if you have someone good on the wheel and someone good on the harpoon and they're communicating well, you can use that harpoon to make a giant circle all the way around the ship and just keep pummeling them, always being broadside. And it's just so effective, especially in like arena mode.
Yeah, that sounds brutal.
Yeah, one of the cool things about the harpoon, too, we didn't say it, is you can actually use the harpoon to harpoon your teammates or chests back onto the ship easier. So if there's a chest in the water, you can use the harpoon, just harpoon it back onto the ship without getting in the water.
Yeah, no, I stole a chest off of Meader at one point whilst we were playing.
Yeah. It was awesome though, because then I can just straight swim there, or you could harpoon me and get me back up there too. So it adds like a whole new layer of strategy to, you don't need to jump in the water anymore. I could think like during the Kraken, that would be so helpful, because the Kraken, you can't even go in the water. You're going to end up drowning half the time.
Can you harpoon people out of the Kraken's mouth?
Wow, I didn't even think of that.
That'd be cool.
It's
if
worth
you
a
can.
try. I mean, I've never tried it before.
Does it
Rescue
go high
your
enough?
teammates.
That's true. It probably wouldn't go high enough to get it up that high, because I think the Kraken tentacles go up a lot higher than the harpoon's distance does.
The harpoon has some decent range on it, actually.
I know you can shoot it almost straight up in the air, so I guess it would really depend, because I haven't really, been in a Kraken encounter since the harpoons came out, so I'd have to really be in an encounter to kind of figure it out.
That's fair. Yeah, it's something new to try, and I think it would go the same way that, like when you use it on the Megalodon and the Meg can pull you around. I think that's wicked cool too.
Yeah, that's really cool too.
again, sort of going back to the idea of keeping people on a broadside with the Megalodon, that'd be good. So he's not just getting up behind you and stuff. You can keep those angles.
For sure.
Well, and one thing I actually want to try too, which I haven't had the chance to yet, but some ships, if they're like about to turn in an outpost, something like that, they sometimes have their chests, up the front of the boat because they're going to jump off or something. Imagine if you were, intersecting with them and you kind of were driving by them, you harpoon a chest off the front of their boat onto your boat. You're like, see ya, you just take it off and run.
So a drive-by theft.
That'd be awesome.
Yes.
That'd be awesome.
We're definitely going to try
fun.
that.
Oh, yeah, we need to try that now.
Imagine how mad they'd be like, hey, wait, no.
Drive-by thefts and extreme combat fishing.
Somebody get back to the boat. Yeah, they'd be like, "Where'd my chest go?" I don't know.
You're just there
That's the
holding the
fish.
chest in your hand. I don't know.
Yeah, so that could end up being a new job on the ship. Like, somebody's like super amazing with the harpoon. They could be like the harpoon guy on the team. You used to like kind of harpoon to navigate around. You harpoon chests back on the ship or people or whatever you want to do to actually help your team out. So if somebody gets really good at that, that could be like kind of a new role in the ship.
It just makes me think of a moment I had a while ago with Sea of Thieves. I don't know if I mentioned it on the podcast before, but me and a friend, I don't think it was you, Derreck. It might have been, but I don't think so. It was just me and them on a sloop, and we crashed into another galleon. And I stayed on the sloop, getting it away. They snuck onto the galleon, stole a chest, jumped back onto the sloop, and we got away. It's like just
Yeah, I don't think that was
streamlining
me,
these
but that
things.
sounds fun though.
No, it was just like these sort of high-stake heist moments in Sea of Thieves are always so fun.
Absolutely, and it gets more fun now that they have all these new mechanics in there.
And you can just sail past someone and steal them now.
Very true. But we did talk a little bit about the new arena mode in passing through these new mechanics. And I know Meader has tried it with me, and Zombie has tried it with me. Monty, have you tried arena at all?
I have not, unfortunately. I've been far too busy. I wish I could. It seems great fun.
That's fine, though. I mean, Meader, Zombie, and I have all tried it, so we can kind of, speak on it more, and you can kind of just react to it, I guess. So, but basically with arena mode, it's 5 ships battle on galleons, so you have 5 teams of 4 essentially, and the top points in that match is the winner. There's 24-minute matches, so at the end of 24 minutes, whatever team has the most points wins. And basically the point breakdown, it's 5 points per kill. So like if I killed Meader's sailor, then that's 5 points. There's 25 points per cannon shot landed on a ship. 100 points per chest discovered on an island. And then the big points come, it's 1,000 points per chest turned into the vendor ship. So in the arena match, there's actually 2 ships somewhere in the map that you can turn into those chests, those 2 ships, and you get 1,000 points for that. And the last point value is if your ship sinks, you lose 1,000 points. So that really comes into play strategically because if somebody else sinks you, you drop down by 1,000 points. And with Arena, the cool thing is it's a very shortened zone. So you only have about, maybe 4 to 5 islands to go to. And those are where the chests are hidden. And then you have 2 ships you can turn into. So it's only 4 or 5 islands total. And then you have 5 ships all in that, enclosed area. So it's a really cool concept, and it actually is pretty well done.
Yeah, no, so each match is sort of around 30 minutes length. It makes me think of some of the longer Battlefield games. So I think I quite like that, because I love Battlefield.
Yeah, I think they tried to design it in a way that people that had short spans of time, they could jump in and still have some fun in the game without having to spend hours and hours, actually having the adventure. So, I know, Meader, you were the first one I tried it with. What's your thoughts on Arena?
I think it's definitely super interesting. It's really, really, really frustrating if you don't have a team where everybody can communicate.
Agreed, for
because
sure.
There's so many different ways to play it, so many different ways to score, and some people like PvP, and some people like aiming for the chests, and if you're not all on the same page, it's just really frustrating. But when you are all on the same page, and you're PvPing well, and you're moving chests, and you're strategizing, it's a heck of a lot of fun. I think one of the most interesting aspects is going to be what effect does the arena mode have on the normal game, and in what type of player will be playing Arena. Will the aggressive people who usually were going around killing now be playing Arena instead, and therefore the seas are actually going to be a little safer?
That's a good point, too, and I think that could come into play where adventure mode is actually a lot safer now, and you don't see as much PvP, because the people that like PvP a lot are probably going to play Arena more so. So I would say maybe that fizzles out a little bit when all these, heavy PvPers, if they get to level 50 in the Sea Dog's reputation, maybe that's when they come back to adventure more so, but I definitely see, that they can go there for a while, for at least the first, month or two.
Well, I think we did see that a bit when we were playing, because we were sailing around for a while, and we came across a whole bunch of ships, who just sailed right past us, so it was kind of nice, sort of takes it back to the beta a bit of just sailing along, not a care in the world, enjoying the views.
Right, definitely, because I know since the update happened, I've only had one time in adventure mode where a ship actually fired on us, and that was actually with Zombie. Zombie and I were literally ending our journey. We're like, all right, let's get off now. Do you want to scuttle our ship and get off? And right when we're about to end, a ship drives by us, and they just start pummeling with cannonballs. We're like, okay, well, I don't really care because we're getting off anyway, so see ya.
Such a waste of time. I just laughed my head off at
Yeah.
that. It was such a waste. We had nothing. We were just going to scuttle the ship. We're getting rid of it anyway, so you did the job for us, so thanks. Appreciate it. You did it for nothing. Off you pop.
Exactly. We didn't even have a scuttle at the point, so. But yeah, that's the only time in Adventure since the update I've actually had anyone fire on me, and it was literally when we were about to get off, so we didn't even care. We're like, okay, well, go ahead. Like, I'm leaving anyways.
There's just so much they added to the game. It's hard to think about PvP because you're like, I want to go and actually like explore the new stuff. I want to try fishing. I want to do the new tall tales. I want to do. I want to check out all the new things that you can eat
R.I.P.
now.
Telltale.
What's that?
I said R.I.P. Telltale.
Yeah, fair.
Oh, wow.
You know what? Telltale should be absorbed within Rare, and they should use their
Yes.
storytelling ability to make
the
more
Tall
tall
Tales.
tales. Exactly.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of cool, actually.
Well, I think it's also just like, this is the anniversary update. You look at Sea of Thieves now, and you look at Sea of Thieves upon release, I'm not gonna lie, Sea of Thieves at release, it was quite bare bones. There wasn't much to it. We were expecting a lot more to be added, after the beta ended, but there wasn't really. We just got the beta again. And then we've had this huge, huge update and all the amazing content that's been added over the last year. And it really has become a great game now. It's been worth sticking by it, and there's a lot to it now, which is nice.
I agree, and I will say personally, I never really had a problem with what it was at release either. I was still having fun at release. My biggest problem with the game has always been that you have to sink like 5 or 6 hours in it to actually have, a true like long adventure. But now that they have different things like Tall Tales, like Arena Mode, they have different things in the game now that you don't have to sink 5 or 6 hours. You can, do a Tall Tale in like an hour and a half, 2 hours, and have a really cool adventure with your friends.
Yeah,
That's
it
a really
wasn't
good
that
point.
there was a problem with it as much. It was just when even Pirate Legend was barely a thing, and all it was just digging up the same treasure chests over and over and going to the
Right,
same
we're doing like
islands
skull
over
forts
and
over
over.
and over, basically.
Like, for a bit it's therapeutic, but after a while,
I mean, come to think of it now, guys, now that I've mentioned skull forts, I can't even remember the last time I've done a skull fort, because there's actually so much to do in the game now that I don't even think about skull forts
Oh
anymore.
god. Thinking of it, with the harpoons, that will make getting things on the ship from the skull fort
Oh, wow.
so much easier.
That'd be
Oh,
kinda
wow,
cool.
that's
That
really
saves a
smart.
whole step.
You can just have a guy, okay, harpoon it, harpoon.
Saves so much hassle.
Definitely. I wonder how the harpoon works with explosive barrels.
Oh god.
What?
I can just imagine
I think
that.
See,
that'd
I
be
would
quite.
think it probably blows you up, but I
Yeah.
don't want to really try it out, so it's
I wanna
worth
try
trying
it
out.
out.
That's what I thought. You'd harpoon it in and it blows up the ship.
That could be a good dupe, though. If people are trying to steal your treasure
Yeah.
chest, pick up a gunpowder barrel, get them to harpoon that, then shoot it.
Yeah.
It's on their ship.
That'd be
at
kind of
that
funny,
point.
yeah.
Yeah.
but what about harpooning skeletons?
I would
that
think it
just kill
just kills the skeleton instantly, unless it's like a boss skeleton.
Yeah.
That's what I would assume. So it could be a good way to help kill skeletons while you're on the ship, maybe.
Just
Maybe
have,
someone like Monty that's just sitting on a boat, you could just be like, oh, well, I can actually do something now.
Oh. All right.
Wow.
Brutal.
Well, I understand when I'm not wanted.
Hey,
Wow.
you're the biggest guest in, podcast history. I gotta mess with you a little bit.
Yeah, I'm
Like
still
15
shoved
times
on
now,
the
so-
boat. But no, I think it could
Zombie,
be interesting. Doing
I actually want to get
now.
Zombie's take on Arena, because you didn't talk a lot about Arena yet. So what did you find in Arena? Did you find the kind of same thing that Meader and I did, that without a crew of like full friends, it's kind of hard in Arena?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's so much harder because you can't communicate with people, and it's just it gets so annoying when obviously you have randomers that come in, don't know what they're doing, and then they start doing random stuff that throws your entire game off. But then with Arena, what I also like as well is the fact that like you're like your points, like no matter how secure your points might be, you might be at like the top of the tally. All it takes is somebody to blow up your ship a couple of times, and that's it, game over. But as well as that, the only thing I hate about it, apart from just the randomers coming in and not knowing what they're doing and not having a full team, is the fact that some people can exploit certain things. And by that, I mean when you're obviously going to like the Sea Dog people to obviously trade in your chest during the game, they can just camp there and just use the cannons on that ship to blow you up before you turn up. And I hate that.
Yeah, see, I don't like people camping on those ships. I mean, I think that's a little bit out of the spirit of the game, but maybe that's just me. I don't know if that's just me, but I think that's a little bit out of the spirit of the game. Like, oh, let me just camp on this ship and wait for people to bring chests here. Like,
I mean,
Yeah,
it's a game
it's
about
such a
pirates.
thing.
Anything's fair game, in my opinion.
I think, like, I can understand that, but at the same time, they're not going out and getting chests the entire game. So if they're camping one ship and you go to the other, they don't get any chests. And they're sitting around for ages, doing nothing, not getting points. So, whilst it can get them a decent amount of points, at the same time, they could just not get any for ages.
which I guess it's an argument you can make. It's just, for some players, like myself, for example, I'm not really that great at one-on-one combat. So, like, any person I come up against, I'm probably going to lose one-on-one combat. So for me, like, it leaves me absolutely no chance to drop a chest off. So it's like, well, what do I do here? I mean, I have no chance to drop a chest off because I can't win one-on-one combat. I can win ship combat sometimes, but one-on-one combat, I'm like one of the worst pirates in the sea.
So Derreck can't even do combat, and I'm left on the ship?
With the skeleton, I could do it, not with another player.
You're left defending the ship.
Yes.
I'm not sure whether to be insulted or complimented.
Maybe both.
Something like that. But I have actually had a couple matches, kind of like what Zombie alluded to. Jesus, who's not on the podcast right now, I had a couple of...
You got Jesus to play Sea of Thieves with you?
Yeah, Jesus walks a lot from Portable Gamers. So.
Oh, not Jesus.
His name is Jesus, so... But...
You just gotta get Jesus down. Hey, Jesus.
But, I played a couple arena matches with him, and one of our arena matches, we literally lost by 30 seconds. We were in the lead, and then a ship actually sunk us. It was like the last 30 seconds of the game. They sunk us. We lost 1,000 points. We lost because of that. We got second place. So it's really cool how matches can change that quickly in the last minute. I do like that feature.
Hopefully see a few nice clutch plays then around on YouTube, things like that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was, a bummer for us that we lost in the last 30 seconds. It's like, we were literally trying to bail water. We're like, bail water, keep the ship on the hook, 30 some more seconds. And we couldn't keep away. We were just trying to frantically bail for 30 more seconds, but it didn't work out, so.
Yeah. Well, I know we've mentioned a couple of times the idea of keeping the circle going. I wanted to mention it earlier, but I know I also mentioned the idea of swapping sides with every passing. If you're getting the advantage with the combat, you can easily use the harpoons to hold them on one side and just keep pummeling sort of the same side so they get bigger holes and they just can't patch things.
Yeah, that's true.
Really nasty tactic. Thank Meader for that one.
You're welcome.
So listeners, next time that you're being murdered by a circle harpoon tactic. You know who you have to thank.
Did I just read this. I wasn't aware. Fish aren't the only type of meat that you can get in the game. If you kill chickens, pigs, or snakes, you get meat from them. You get meat from sharks now too. And allegedly the Megalodon and Kraken both drop meat.
I think I subconsciously knew that, but I forgot about it in the course of things. So I'm
literally
glad you brought that back
any
up.
animal you kill now, other than a human, you're getting meat from. And you can sell it all.
I can't get human meat? What the hell?
Not yet.
PvP's useless now.
I want my human meat. Like,
Wait for the Donner update.
I mean, I want to, have somebody kill Monty and then steal his meat and go sell it somewhere.
Oh my goodness, why is it always me? Always me.
Well, you're always on the ship, so perfect target, I guess.
I kind of feel like it's a game of pull the shortest straw. They make me draw first, and they're all short straws. They're kind of like, oh, Monty, draw the short straw. Oh, they're all, oh, what a shame.
Pretty much.
Oh, you're on the boat. Oh, we're eating you.
Well,
No, I mean, just imagine that, Meader. We get back to the ship, and there's some Monty meat in the package there. It's like, oh, hey, there's Monty meat. Let's just go sell it.
In the package? Like it's all backed up?
Meader,
it's a legitimate business now.
Meader, we
that's
got some
Monty
leftover Monty. Do you want some?
Oh, no, I'm so full off that Monty earlier.
It's a full brand now. In the world of Sea of Thieves, it's a full brand.
Yes.
We've made our own brand and a package and everything. Oh my god.
Forget Bird's Eye. It's all
I
about
know.
Monty Eye.
Exactly.
Oh, my.
You'll start seeing, separate skins with, Monty themed. And, like, oh, you have the Monty pants yet? I don't have the Monty pants. Let me get the Monty pants.
What, is it just like
Sharks.
Stitch skin?
Yeah, it says your name on it, has your autograph, everything. So
God.
it's going to be the hottest thing in Sea of Thieves. Wait about a month, and it's going to be there. So.
I'm going to hold you to that, Derek. You got a month. You got a month to get me in that game.
Yeah, just look out for it, everyone. You're going to have Monty hats, Monty shirts, even Monty belt buckles. It has a belt buckle. It has his name right on it. So.
Will it come with its own tall tale?
Monty mission.
Yeah,
Monty mission.
The Monty mission.
Yeah, you leave an NPC on the boat.
It will. That's the hidden 10th tale that we haven't talked about yet. The 10th tale is called Monty's Adventure, and basically what you do is you sit on the boat the whole time and fish.
Oh wow.
You sit on the boat the whole time.
I haven't even caught fish.
Oh wow.
And then at the very end of the mission, somebody comes and kills you, and you become Monty meat. So that's the ending.
And then you have to repeat
Sorry,
the whole
everyone,
cycle.
I didn't really want to spoil the ending for you, but that's the ending of the Monty mission. So
Low-key spoilers.
I only did the first campaign. Are they all awesome?
So Zombie and I did the second one. Monty, did you only do the first one as well?
I did only do the first one. Well, I saw maybe bits of the first one. The rest I was left on the boat. I think I had a nice read,
I think the second one was actually a lot of fun. Zombie, you can talk on that too, but I see it's interesting how we have the setup here because, Monty, Meader, and I did the first one together, and then Zombie and I did the second one, but Zombie never did the first one, so, I'm the only one that's actually done both of them, so, Zombie, if you want to, kind of comment on your thoughts on the second one real quick, but, we can kind of get into the tall tales a little bit now.
Well, the second episode was really good. It actually, no matter what episode you go into, a lot of people have been saying this to me and everything, that no matter what episode you go into, it's good regardless. So it doesn't matter if you start on episode 5 and then come back all the way back down. Regardless, it's awesome. And the thing I like about this Tall Tales, the way they've done it, is voice lines. They've actually got people to voice people rather than it just being text on a screen, which I like because they should have that more often. Because obviously it has a new obviously I like storytelling basically, and the Sea of Thieves never used to have it. It used to be just okay, this is like an open world. Let's just go and be pirates. But there's actually a story to it with people voicing lines. It draws me more into it, and I wanted to play the first episode even more after I finished the second one because I loved obviously the thing of going, oh, looking at this book, trying to figure out all the clues, going through all of that, working together as a team to go through all the clues, trying to figure out where each location was, getting these parts, and then following a compass to an unknown location. Oh, like nobody knows where this is. You just follow this compass and it leads you to where it is, and it's just a mysterious, like way it did it as well. Is obviously you just guessing where you're going is like adds more to like the drama and builds more excitement up for when you're actually versing the boss, and it's really really fun.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of fun too, and that kind of segues into what Tall Tales actually is. Basically, anyone that doesn't know exactly what it is, it's 9 new campaign adventures, and it has some classic elements of Sea of Thieves, like you fight skeleton captains, you have you have to dig up chests, things like that. But it also has some new aspects too, like interesting riddles that you have to solve that are a little bit more outside the box, and it's a little bit more outside the box with how you have to find these things too, because in a typical Sea of Thieves quest, it's like, okay, go to, Kraken's Fall and get this chest, and that's your adventure. But in this, you have to actually read a journal and actually flip through the pages of the journal and figure out, okay, where do I go for this? Because, for example, the one that Zombie and I did, there was one island we had to find, and it made a reference, like, okay, it's in line with Snake's Island or something like that. And I'm like looking at the map, well, this island over here is in a straight line with Snake's Island, and that was kind of the clue you had to draw from that. So there's little minor clues like baked into the journals.
Yeah, it was. I know in the first one it was, and I don't want to give spoilers at all, but it was really cool because it would tell you to do a thing, go to a place, and the place that you needed to go to was vague. It was like in this general area, there's a thing. So you'd go there, and then it wouldn't tell you what you needed to do, but it would hint that, say, there was something in or around that island that you were looking for. So then you found a piece of that and knew that there was another piece over on the other side. You had to like piece everything together instead of, like you were saying, it says go to this island and raise your lantern at this statue. You're not looking for landmarks anymore. You're actually looking for something that's not expressly told to you what you're looking for.
Right. Yeah, because, I mean, basically the first adventure, I won't spoil too much of it, but essentially the end goal is you're trying to get this object called the Shroudbreaker. I won't say how you get there, but basically your adventure is trying to get this Shroudbreaker, and in trying to get that, you have to read this journal and figure out all these steps of the journal. Okay, we have to go here next. We have to go here. And now we have to do this. And at one point in that adventure, there's actually a really interesting riddle that, Monty unfortunately misses. He's stuck in the boat, but,
Really? Was I really? I didn't notice that bit. I was busy looking out.
The boat. There were 2 ships. There were 2 sloops circling the island while we were there. You were protecting it.
Yeah, one man.
Exactly.
One man.
I know.
Let's get him off. Bam. I wouldn't mess with me, If I saw me standing on the ship, it's a power move right there. Just standing there on the ship. Scary stuff.
Yeah, you did a great job with that, and during that, Meader and I were working through this riddle, and this riddle you can actually die from if you don't do the riddle in time. I won't say what exactly happens, but the riddle actually is where you can actually die, and not by a skeleton. So it's kind of cool, actually.
What was cool about that too was like it added a new section to an island that I've been to that island probably 100 times, and now there was this new section added to it in a place that wouldn't exist before this.
Right, and that's kind of cool too, where it has different things now and different uses for things. Like there's these uncharted islands that have been in the game for some time now, and now some of these adventures actually make use of some of these islands. So that's very cool as well. And I will say, since I've played both adventures, I would say it's really cool how they have them geared different ways, because I think the first adventure, it was geared a lot more in the kind of search and find aspect of Sea of Thieves, where you're searching for a chest or you're searching for an object, and you have to like go through the steps and solve a riddle to find this. And I would say the one I did with Zombie, the second adventure, that was more geared towards the Order of Souls style, where you have to actually do a lot more fighting. But it's interesting in the same sense, because it wasn't just go to this island, kill 4 skeletons, then come back. it was a little bit more in depth than that because Zombie alluded to that there's actually these objects now in these Tall Tales adventures that help you on your journey. And we had an enchanted compass, and this enchanted compass actually told you which way to go. So you had to follow the compass across the sea. You had no idea where you're going. You had to follow this compass across the sea, and eventually you get to your destination. You have to figure out what's there.
It's
Sounds
really
like
cool.
a cool bit of an adventure.
Just hats off to Rare for finding new ways to make a game that's been around for a long time fresh and exciting for players who have played it for literally hundreds plus hours.
Absolutely. And I don't know about you guys, but I mean, out of everything that we're talking about, the new mechanics, arena mode, the Tall Tales, all of it, this update is amazing. And I would say for my money, the Tall Tales is what I'm most excited about. Like, these new campaign adventures are so much fun, and all that fun that you have is within an hour and a half to 2 hours. So you don't even need that much time, and you can have a really fun adventure with your friends.
No, it's definitely overall an absolutely great update. There's been some awesome things added. All of the Tall Tales, I say all of them. I've played one. Between us, we played two. I can't say for all of them, but they seem awesome. The ones we played, they've been great. You know, adding more depth to islands we've been to so many times. It's just sort of finding these little things, these little details, that's brought a whole nother magic to the game.
It was
You
cool.
have any thoughts on it, Zombie?
Well, for the first episode, I'm more hyped to play it now. I can tell you that. You've made me more hyped to play it now. Mostly because what's really fascinating to me is the fact that obviously everything has a unique thing styled towards what type of what type of thing it is. So obviously, when we played the second episode, it was obviously a lot of souls. It was all based towards that. And I don't know what the first episode was more based towards and stuff like that. But there's the thing as well, I like how you were saying about how if you didn't solve a certain thing, was it a riddle? I think it was, in time?
It was a riddle, yes.
Yeah, it was a riddle. If you didn't solve it in time, you'd die. I like that because it adds more suspense to it. And you're thinking that, okay, I've got to do this really quick, right? But then there's it's like a climax that starts to build up. And it adds more suspense to it, and that's what I enjoy. It's just like a climax in a game. Because obviously you're building up towards something when you're trying not to get to that point, you know what I mean? Where it's like, obviously you're getting overstressed about it. But I enjoy that because if I'm solving a riddle where basically I'm on a time limit, it gives me like, I'm more invested into trying to do it, you know what I mean? Rather than, I've got all the time in the world, I could just sit here for like hours on end and try to figure out this riddle and I'll be totally fine.
Yeah, and I'll say too that I'm glad I had Meader there with me because I have heard that if you fail this riddle, then you have to restart the entire adventure over again. So, props to Meader and helping that. So.
Yeah, thanks, Meader.
Hey, man,
Great
effort.
Great effort.
Couldn't do it without every single one of us standing on the boat.
I actually went ahead and wrote a little log for my time on the boat.
Pirate's log day one. Stuck on
7
the boat.
Is that
o'clock.
what that was? I thought it was toilet paper. Sorry.
Different type of log.
I mean, I thought it was a coffee stain, but
They changed the skeletons a little bit too for the Tall Tales, or at least the one that we were the first one. Did you see that
they
were
had
covered?
funky
and
coral.
stuff like that. Yeah, they had coral and different things on them. It was really cool.
yeah,
Actually.
that was really cool.
It was, and like I said, you're taking something old, something that's been around that people like, and you're making it fresh and new in like a really subtle way, but also in like a really big way. It's a great job, and it's what people who do remakes well, like Capcom with Resident Evil, do really well. Take something familiar, make something new, but also make it familiar. It's what they do really well, and I'm just always so excited to see what Rare's going to come out with next.
Absolutely. One of the cool things I thought about this too is the riddles before this. They're always, a couple of things on a parchment says, oh, go to the old oak tree where this guy died, or it says like something weird like that, and you have to go find it. But it was actually cool because they had pictures you had to follow, so you couldn't just rely on, okay, this is the landmark. You have to look at the picture and figure out, okay, where is this picture? Where is this, funny rock? Like, I remember at one point, there's a rock that looked like a guy's nose. We had to find this certain rock, so it was kind of cool actually.
Yeah, that was really cool, and again, different, but in a really good way.
Absolutely. So, Monty, I know you haven't played Arena yet, but would you say Tall Tales is something you're more interested in, or would it be like Arena, or maybe fishing, or what kind of interests you most?
Well, I think I definitely want to try out Arena, because as I mentioned, by the sounds of it, it makes me think a bit of Battlefield, and some of my favourite gaming moments has just been like chilling, playing Battlefield 4 or whatever. So I'd love to try out Arena mode. But I definitely want to play more of the Tall Tales. Those have been, they sound cool.
Yeah, I definitely want to play through all 9. I don't know about you guys, but I mean, I enjoyed the first 2 so much that I don't know when I'm going to have the time to do it, but I definitely want to play through all 9. And I think what I might want to do actually is do future episodes of the podcast. Maybe, this is spoilers for episode or, missions 3, 4, and 5 of Tall Tales. And then maybe have, the final mission be a episode or something like that. Because those adventures are so cool to actually break down and talk about, I think.
What about doing some streams for it?
I technically already have. I mean, I was streaming for the one the zombie and I did. So,
and I was streaming for the other one.
Yeah.
So that one's recorded as well.
Yeah. So the first adventure, Meader recorded that one, and the one that I did with zombie, I recorded that one as well. So those I recorded, and I did record some of our PvP action that Meader and I had in Arena, but we kind of ended that early because, kind of like Meader was alluding to earlier, it's not as fun sometimes if you don't have a full crew, because Meader and I were kind of getting frustrated where our 2 randoms, they did not do anything we wanted, and they kind of hindered us, and it was just kind of annoying at that point.
Yeah, I bailed out on you, but I was way too frustrated. I'd rather leave than be mean.
No, it's all good. I mean, and I even tried by myself, and that was even worse, what you could imagine, because I was trying to, I'm going to go for this island here. I mark on the map or something like that. I'm like, all right, let's go here, guys. And then, somebody else grabs the wheel. They're turning around somewhere else. I'm like, oh my gosh. So what I ended up doing is once we got a chest, I literally took the chest. I tried to swim it halfway across the map to the passion point. I'm like, screw it. I'm just going to swim this across.
I was watching that when he did it on stream. I was slapping my head off.
And let me guess, you got camped?
Shark.
No, actually, I made it right to the edge of the ship, and I got eaten by a shark.
Once again.
That sounds familiar.
Always eaten by the sharks.
The goddamn sharks.
They got a taste.
Yeah, I mean,
they got a taste for him.
Based on the experience I had with Meader, with Zombie, with Jesus Walks a Lot, I would definitely say you should not play Arena unless you have at least 3 friends with you. If you have a 3-person crew and 1 random, you could probably get by with it, but you have to have at least 3 people you actually know, I would say, because otherwise you're going to have such a poor experience where the random people on your crew aren't going to follow what you want, and they're just going to kind of, go off and do whatever. So I think you really need at least 3 friends on your boat.
Or to get really lucky, because I did watch one of my buddies on his stream drop into a rando lobby with 3 other people he didn't know using game chat, and they were all on mic and they all worked together. It was amazing. I think it was a blue moon, because I don't see that being the standard.
Very true, and you can have luck like that, because I will say I did actually win a game of Arena, and it was a game that I jumped in with 3 random people, so I didn't know any of these people, and we actually weren't on voice chat either, because I think I was in a party with somebody else at the time, so we weren't even on voice chat. We never communicated, and yet we still work together well after win. So those situations are very rare, but you can have situations like that where you actually do succeed. Just those are going to be the rarity, not the norm.
Fair enough. I'm really excited for the Tall Tales. Hopefully, it'd be sweet to get all 4 of us together in the same party and doing one of these.
Absolutely.
I agree, and
Yeah.
I think it'd be really cool if we could actually, knock out, say, make a night of it and, do a 6-hour night if we're all ever free and do okay, let's do Tall Tale 3, 4, and 5, and then we'll talk about it in the podcast.
That sounds like a lot of fun. I'm down.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I'd be down for that.
And Zombie, is that kind of your feeling too, that you're more excited for the Tall Tales, or are you more into the Arena, you would say?
I'd say I'd be more into obviously the Tall Tales, to be honest, because I've just had this thinking in my head of we do all these 9 episodes, and then there's not necessarily an episode after that, but we do all these 9 episodes, it leads to a massive boss fight, and this is what I think it's gonna be. It's just my opinion. I think it's gonna be that we do all 9 episodes, which get us hyped up, and then we do an actual like massive boss fight for the rest of it. We go to like one specific place, and this boss fight is just the whole thing that lasts like an hour or something of us just going after this boss. Like it's a major battle that happens, and I don't know why I just had that in my head.
Yeah, I could see it for sure, because I do know that the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th mission, you can do those out of order if you want, because I won't spoil anything, but when Zombie and I ended our mission, it basically tells you, okay, you have to go do these 4 missions about these 4 different people, and you can actually do them out of order if you want to. So I think it's really cool that they actually have all these missions linked together, because all 9 missions are intertwined with like one overarching story. So they all fit into the same story, but you have different missions that you can do different times. So I think 7, 8, and 9 have to be in order, but the next 4 that we have to do are all, you can do them out of order if you want to. So yeah, Monty, you have any other thoughts about the Tall Tales?
I think that's mostly my thoughts down. Overall, awesome stuff. I think I've said this a couple of times. Great update. So much has come along. Yeah, I look forward to playing more.
Yeah, same here. Meader, do you have any final thoughts about the new update at all, or Arena, or Tall Tales, any of that stuff?
It's all great. I look forward to continuing to see what Tall Tales is all about. Play a little bit more Arena, try out the fishing mechanics, and of course anything else that Rare comes up with, I am on board.
Yeah, they do a really great job with updating their game, honestly. 'Cause, I mean, all the stuff they put into this game in a year, it's amazing. So, and Meader, I think you're really going to enjoy that second mission where you actually have that enchanted compass. I think you'll really get a kick out of that.
I'm excited.
Maybe I'll
Zombie,
see that
do you have
one.
any you have any final thoughts, Zombie, about any of the aspects of the update?
I had this idea, and it was when we were mentioning obviously the harpoon earlier. I had this idea of having maybe the harpoon not just picking up a person, but maybe if you're like on a chest, like if you're able to like stand on a chest and it harpoons the chest with you on it, so it's a 2-for-1, and you get like carried back across
funny,
like on the chest, like while you're holding onto this chest, you're getting harpooned back onto your ship. So it's like that's how you do the stealing of like someone else's ship. You jump on, grab the chest, harpooned off with it.
I don't know if it would work, but I mean, it's worth a shot, though. So.
Yeah, it just sounds really fun. But then overall, like the way, like obviously, like, for this whole game, it's been obviously I was there when like even like they had like the alpha, the beta, and stuff like that. And obviously there wasn't a lot when the game first came out. It was fun because you could just mess around. There wasn't a lot to do. You basically. Like, people who had a lot of creative minds just made up stuff to do. Like, I know with my mates when it first came out, we were just making up random stuff to do. And we just got a kick out of it. And now with all this stuff coming in, there's different, like, regions you go into. There's different, like, obviously, like, different, like, parts of the world. So, obviously, you've got, like, places that have, like, a massive thunderstorm over it. Like, places that have, like, volcanoes. You have, like clear water areas. Like, each, like, different place has its own, like, reason for being there, and it literally it's really like good because I like the way it's all like separated out, so you know what you're in for when you go into each of these territories. But with the Tall Tales as well, it has that element as well as obviously, oh, you're doing all these episodes, but you're doing it to maybe weaken a higher boss that's coming up soon, and I like that because you're getting prepared for a massive boss battle, and it hypes you up, as well as obviously this arena as well keeps people hyped up as well, because a lot of people will be playing that arena for ages. I mean, I don't know if any of you haven't heard about this, but apparently they're trying to make that into an esports event.
Oh, they're actually going to make it esports?
They're trying to. They're trying to, but I say this. They're trying to make any game into an esports event nowadays. To be honest. So, oh, this game's got, yeah. If a game's got multiplayer and it's liked, esports, great.
I don't really know if arena works as esports, but I mean,
I want to see some Tall Tale speedruns.
Ooh,
That'd be cool.
That'd be kind of fun, yeah.
AGDQ.
Yeah.
I wonder how long it would take on a speed run to knock out all 9. Like,
Yeah,
with
with
the
a 4-person crew, you like leave one person at each island, and one person stays at one island forever because in the third one you have to go back to that island for something. That would be really neat.
Maybe leave
I
one on the
think
boat.
casual play, I think it's estimated about 27 to 30 hours altogether casual
Oh.
play for the Tall Tales. So, like, but for a crew that's, like, speed running it, I wonder if they can knock that out in under, like, I don't know, 24 hours under that. So,
That'd be
do like a
nifty.
massive stream. Yeah. That'd be kind of cool.
On like
to
a
see,
private localized server or something.
Right. No, that'd be interesting to see though. If anyone wants to try a speedrun, let us know and we'll check it out. I know I can't do it probably, but so.
And we definitely won't steal your ideas and definitely try to do it better. I mean, good luck.
Hey, I don't have that kind of time to do a 24-hour run like that. So I don't know about you guys, but
I wish.
so
to make game plans, just leave someone
maybe
on the boat.
one day I'll do a 24-hour stream, but I'm gonna stick to the 12-hour streams as bonuses right now because
Yeah.
I don't have the 24-hour stream kind of capacity.
Hey,
right
the
now.
extra
Still
life
12
event's a
hours.
good excuse.
That is true. I know you've done 24-hour streams before, Meader. I don't know how you get through
They're
it.
brutal.
Yeah.
PTO time, that's how.
This is what I say.
Yeah, that's basically what I'd have to do too.
Yeah. This is what I say. If you've done a 12-hour stream, you can do a 24-hour stream.
Let me tell you, the first 20 hours are not that bad.
It's
It's
the
the
last 4
last
hours.
4 that murder you.
I've been told that so many times. It's just like, it's a constant thing. Like, people in my college literally say this to me constantly. It's like, you ever done 24 hours? Yeah? Just like, the last 4 hours kill you.
Yeah.
I'm like, really? Seems fine to me.
That makes sense to me though, because the 12-hour stream that I did, Zombie was there for that whole stream, and
Oh, yeah.
like the first 10 hours, like I didn't even feel like anything happened. Like it was like went by so fast, and the last 2, it finally started to like get to me a little bit, like not like as much as a 24-hour stream would get to me, but the last 2 hours, like wow, it actually is getting a little bit long now.
Yeah, at like 12, 13 hours, you start to feel that dip, and it starts to wear on you, but then you get a second wind, but there's no third wind. So when you dip after the
Right.
second wind, it's brutal. A lot of fun though. Great cause, charity.
Well, I'll have to try that out sometime. So, I did do a charity stream for 4 hours before that I did recently, and we raised some good money there. But I've never done 24 hours, so I'll have to try that soon.
Fair enough.
But that's basically everything we have to say about the Sea of Thieves update, unless you guys have something new. So in the future, we'll have to try to jump back in as a crew and do more of those tall tales, because those tall tales I think are really where it's at, and I really love the story aspect and getting those journals and flipping through the pages of the journals and trying to figure things out. I remember Meader and Monty, like when we first got the journals, we couldn't even figure out how to flip the pages because they were like, "How do you flip the page?" I remember that.
Oh,
Why
I should've
Meader
watched
and Monty?
that.
You didn't know either. Somebody in my chat told me.
No, I didn't know either. I wasn't saying anything.
Oh, come on, guys.
I
I
was
He's
figured
trying to
like,
protect himself.
Now the truth comes
No.
out.
Oh, come on, guys. I figured this out instantly. I literally knew what button to press to flip the pages immediately. Like, come on, seriously. How
Well,
long
we'll
did you
ha-
spend?
No, because
We
I
gotta
remember
have
when
you
we
on.
first got it, like I was talking to Meader and I'm like, what is it? We can't do anything. Like all it says is like the name of the adventure. Like where do we actually find the clues? Like all it does is say the name of the adventure.
Oh,
How do we turn the page?
I wish I could have watched that just to purely laugh at like the amount of time it probably took you to figure out how to turn a page
Probably
on a
like
game.
10 minutes.
You see,
It was
my
probably
thi-
about 10 minutes. Yeah.
Oh
my
my
theory
God.
was if you stay on the boat long enough, it'll turn automatically. But that didn't work out.
Hey, maybe that's the trick to a speedrun. Keep somebody on the boat the whole time.
Hey, Monty volunteers. So.
Anyone out there doing a speed run, hit me up.
Monty will flip all the pages. He'll do all the fishing for you. He'll take care of your ship. He'll even mop it up for you.
You laugh now, Derek.
He's like the caretaker. He's there
Week.
with a little
Give it a
brush.
week. Gonna be in the papers
Maybe you will.
for speed running, staying on the boat.
You just see him
We'll have
with
to
a
put you in a
brush and a
different
mop.
paper for that Fortnite episode too.
You just see him with a mop on the boat. This is all I did. I stayed on the boat mopping it all day. Speedrun success.
It's not much,
Monty
but it's honest
keeps it
work.
clean though. He does a very good job keeping our boat clean. So
I get paid for
What? Because I always sink it.
it.
yeah, well, that's more zombie style. Zombie crashes cars all the time. So
Oh yeah,
I wouldn't
yeah,
really
yeah,
trust
I
him at
do
the
that.
helm of a wheel.
Yeah, I
so.
do that. Sometimes I blow up deliberately because I'm a pyromaniac. But anyway, Enough about that.
All's well that ends well.
Yeah.
Exactly. But just wrapping up here, real quick to go over some of our news from the top of the show. The next podcast we're going to do is next Saturday on State of Decay 2. The topic is still to be determined, but I will have some kind of topic. Our streaming schedule for the next week after you're hearing this is going to be Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern. That's the 19th, 20th, and 21st. On Sunday, we'll be playing State of Decay 2. Monday's going to be Borderlands 1. And Tuesday will be State of Decay 2 as well. And in order to contact the podcast, you can contact me via email, theblaisexperience@gmail.com. You can contact me on Discord, which will be in the show notes. You can contact me on Twitter or on Xbox at Blaise XPerience. That's capital BLAISE, capital XPERIENCE. And I'm also on YouTube and Facebook, even though I don't follow those as often. Meader, how can people contact you if they want to contact you?
Twitter.com/Meader or Mixer.com/Meader. MEADER.
And Zombie, how about you?
My gamer tag of obviously Zombie Colorama. It's an awkward spelling, but it's a zombie, and then a 3, and then a kill, and then a 3, and then RMA.
And then lastly, Monty, how can people contact you?
As always, people can contact me on Xbox with the Epic Duck, spaces between each word, no capitals. They can always find me in the Discord as well, so jump on into the Discord for the podcast. I'm there. You can at me. I might respond. I'm there. I don't speak much, but I watch everything. You can find me on Twitter as well, at MontyD14, if you ever want to contact me there.
And if you can't find him in those places, you can always look in the brig of your ship. He's probably there. So.
Cool, I should have that line in.
Or
I
in
saw
your
that
pantry.
coming. I saw that coming.
Yes.
I saw
Exactly.
that coming.
Well, there's probably people at home that did too, so. But anyone that wants to listen to the podcast, you're obviously listening to it right now. But there's other ways to find it too, in case you want to use a different app. We're on Stitcher, we're on Spotify, we're on iTunes, Google Podcasts, Blueberry, Podbean, Radio Public, and many of the directories. So just check out any of those directories. And honestly, if you just Google search the Blaise XPerience, you're going to find us somewhere. So just check us out in any app you want to. If you don't like to use apps, if you just join my Discord, there's actually a channel on my Discord called Direct Download Links. And it has a direct link to every podcast I've ever done. So if you don't want to have an app on your phone or something, you can always directly download any episode from that link. And lastly, before we head off here, I do want to mention our Patreon. Patreon is a way to help content creators with the content they're making. So I definitely appreciate anyone that wants to give back with Patreon. For as little as $1 a month, you can be a Patreon member, and it basically helps support me with the content I'm creating, with streaming, with podcasting, and everything in between. So with joining Patreon, you get different reward levels. I have $1, $5, $10, and $15 reward levels. And the higher the level you go to, the more rewards you get. So you get different rewards, like you get to decide some things I podcast about. You get bonus podcasts. You get top priority to play on stream, things like that. So there's a lot of different rewards in there. So definitely check that out. That's going to be at patreon.com/Blaise XPerience. That's patreon.com/Blaise XPerience. So I definitely appreciate you checking that out. But before we head out here, Zombie, thank you for being here. I really appreciate you coming on for your first time.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me. I'm new to this kind of podcasting, but I enjoyed it. Very fun.
I'm glad. So you can come back on in the future, and I definitely love to have you back.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Meader, thanks for coming back. Hopefully you don't wait 40 episodes next time. So.
Well, thanks for having me. And I'll be honest, I didn't know you had a Patreon, and I'm literally going to go there right now and subscribe so I can get some of those awesome rewards.
Awesome. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Yeah, we just made the Patreon back 2 months ago now, March 16th. So it hasn't been alive very long, but at the 1 year anniversary is when we made it. So I appreciate that. And Monty, thank you for being here as well for your 28th appearance or whatever it is now. So
something like that. It's been wonderful as always. It's been great, and it's been amazing not just being me in the podcast. Derreck always.
It seems like about every 10 episodes or so, you come back. So, we'll see you in about 10 episodes probably. So
See you then.
Counting down the days.
We'll see you with the
and
next
if
Sea
not,
of Thieves
we'll
update.
see you on the ship somewhere. So next podcast you're on, I'll have to bring you a mop, all right?
I'll do my best.
But thank you to the listener as well. I really appreciate you listening. It means a lot every podcast you listen to, every time you download, and every stream you join me on. So definitely appreciate you checking out the stream at mixer.com/Blaise XPerience. So really appreciate everyone checking out the stream and the podcast. So thank you as always for listening to the Blaise XPerience.